in 1981, she just needed some extra money. What she didn't realize is that she also needed the praise and support that came with it. Stacy is now a Mary-paid multi-millionaire with over $7 million in commissions. And she's been a member of the exclusive Inner Circle 13 times. Stacy's favorite perk of being a national sales director is helping other women tap into their own God-given potential, and from there to visualize and develop their own dreams.
Welcome Independent Executive National Sales Director, Stacy James.
Welcome to seminar. We are not to conform to the thoughts of this world, yes? We are to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And this is the place where our minds are most renewed. It is where we gather together. It is where we are stimulated from our spirits and our hearts, and we get to learn all kinds of amazing things. And this is going to be a remarkable few days, and I congratulate you for taking the effort, making the effort, putting the plans in place, and you are here. Yes! There was an interview I heard, actually it was a few years ago, and it was Walt Disney. The interview had asked him, what does success feel like? And he said, you know, success is not when I had all the Disney worlds and the Disneylands and the theme parks and all the movies and everything that I've known for as far as success. Success is when I started out. When I started out, I had a plan, and I went to the bankers, and they laughed in my face, and they told me that a dancing mouse was not something that people were going to want to come see. Our dancing flowers are singing notes, and he said success is when people don't see the vision, and they don't understand the dream, and they're not on board with you, and you do not quit. That is success. It says that oftentimes in our lives we have moments that are divine moments that maximize our life, moments when we make decisions that make the difference in the trajectory of our life. And I believe during these few days you're going to have moments. You're going to have times in which you have something that hits your heart, that causes you to think a new thought, that gives you a new vision and solidifies a new dream. But also in your life there's lots of moments. There are moments that are exciting, and in Mary Kay I've had so many moments of celebration and exhilaration and victory. I've had moments when I remember even just signing my agreement, making the decision that I was going to give this a try, and I was nervous and I was scared, but I was excited about the possibilities to come. The moments in which I put my arms into the sleeves of my very first red jacket. Do we have red jackets in this audience? That feat, the moment that I took my oath as a brand new director. Do we have brand new directors in this audience? Taking their oath at seminar, the moment that I earned my very first Cadillac, and they called me and they told me it was in, and I was driving that old car with a hole in the floorboard, and I got to back my back up to the wall in my kitchen and slide down and sit on the floor and cry and say, this company is giving me a Cadillac for doing a good job. And when I taught school, they gave me a ham for Christmas. my first Offspring director, and then all of a sudden you realize there's just some component of you that understands that this really is not about you. This is so about the lives that are entrusted to you, the lives of the women that come into your life that you get to be fascinated by, the people that you get to be interested in, that you care about, that you want to know their songs, you want to know what makes them tick, you want to know what they dream about, you want to pull their dreams out in them, because oftentimes dreams are buried within us and it takes someone else to care enough to want to know what they are. So I remember that feeling. I remember, of course, debuting as a national sales director on this stage with my family here. I remember when my husband came home from work one day and he said, "I'm going to quit my job." I remember when he said, "You know what, we don't need my income anymore. There's some things going on at the office that I don't appreciate anymore, and I'm frustrated, and so I've made a decision in 2 weeks. I'm going to give my resignation right now." And I said, "Okay, so what are you going to do?" And he said, "I think I'm going to start helping you with your business." He was 32 years old, and I said, "So what are you going to do?" And he said, "I'm not really sure, but I think we'll figure it out, but I think golfing might be a fun thing to take up." 32 years ago, we became partners in our business. When he was 32, it was actually 27 years ago. We became partners in our business, and for the last 27 years, we have worked together in this Mary Kay beautiful phenomenon of a life. And he went into his boss's office, who was a doctor, and he sat in front of his boss, and he gave his notice, and his boss turned to him and said, "Brian, oh my gosh, how does it make you feel now that your wife not only makes more money than you do, but she's always going to?" And my husband in all his wisdom said, "Well, I don't know, but how does it make you feel?" And she makes more money than you do too. I think secure men are pretty sexy, don't you? Okay, so I'm going to tell you a funny moment, then I'm going to tell you a couple more moments that were defining in my life. The funny moment is that you need to have a sense of humor to really enjoy your business and your life. Do you so agree? You need to have a sense of humor because you're the funniest thing walking around. And if you learn to laugh at yourself, you will never run out of things to laugh at. It's just a continual play that goes on. You cannot take yourself so seriously. I was driving in one of my beautiful pink Cadillacs going to Salina, Kansas, taking some balloons to one of my consultants who had just earned her first free car. Another point in time when you realize it's for the sake of others. And as I was driving in my car, I was singing. Anybody sing in their car? And I was getting to the crescendo part. You know how you just entertain yourself in your mind? Unbeknownst to me, there was a pickup truck coming alongside me. I had not paid any attention because I was in my moment. Also unbeknownst to me, one of the pink balloons had floated from the back seat into the front seat. And as I was singing, I turned my head and went, when you do something like that, you turn around to see if anybody just saw you do something like that. And I turned around and the man in the pickup truck was going, he was not only laughing, he was taking his hand in his laughing, and he would gain his composure, look at me, I was laughing, and we laughed for 10 miles. It's like the best therapy in the world. As a consultant, I was driving my car with a hole in the floorboard, and I had made the decision that this was my life's work, and I had left my full-time teaching position to support my family. And my husband was in college at that point in time, and Jennifer, our youngest daughter, was 4 years old. And I had made that decision and that commitment that this was going to be it. And I was excited because when you make a commitment, then it's interesting how things come together. And I was driving to a party, and I usually did parties on Sunday afternoons, and for some reason this party was a Thursday night. And it was a significant party because it was one of those parties that was going to pay a specific bill. You counted on it. I was looking forward to it. I coached the hostesses. I got everything in place, on the participants, and the hostess was amazing. I loved her, and everything was coming together, and I got in my car to drive to the party, and it started raining. And as I drove to the party in my car with a hole in the floorboard and the water splashing up through the floorboard onto my legs, I drove up to the house, and usually I parked far away in my car so people didn't know that I was driving that car. And I had to park close because it was raining. I got my beauty cases. They were not starter kits then. Does anybody remember beauty cases? They were pink and they were big, and they had big trays and mirrors in them, and I put one over one shoulder, one over the other shoulder, and it was raining. I put my purse on my head and I ran up to the front door. Now I was very excited because I had just made a decision to stop wearing shoes that were made of plastic. You know what I mean? Shoes, your heels that you buy at really inexpensive places that have a tendency to fall apart. I bought my first pair of leather shoes with my Mary Kay money. And Brian and I had been moving forward with our business. We had been making a difference and an impact on our bills. And I bought those shoes and was so excited. And I got up to the door, and there was a note on the door. The note said that her cat got sick, and she called all of her people, told them not to come, and she would give me a call and tell me in the morning when we could reschedule it. So I turned around in the rain and I started to walk down those steps. And as I was walking down those steps, my shoe went through the hole in one of those wooden steps, and I had to take my shoes off. You know how you take your shoes off when it's raining? I took my shoes off, and I'm pulling my shoe out of the hole in the step, and I pulled all the leather off the back of my shoe. My new shoe. I got in my car, I was soaking wet. The party I was counting on was not there. And I remember thinking to myself, what in the heck am I doing? What am I doing? Oh my gosh, this is not comfortable, and this is not fun, and this is not exciting. And I'm driving around in the rain, and people are canceling their parties, and this is not fun. And I am frustrated. And as I was driving down the street, these kind, calm words came to me, and the words were, Stacy James, I have given you everything you need to change this situation. Here's the deal. We know there are times when not everything is going to go the way we think it should go. You know there are times when you're making progress and you don't see the progress because you're looking by sight, you're not looking by faith. You're not understand that God is working in the perimeters and the backgrounds to make a big impact on our lives. Brian and I were talking about all the places that we've gone to in Mary Kay because of this business, this opportunity, that we've been in gondolas in Venice, that we've been in a private tour of the Vatican, that we have climbed the Sydney Harbor Bridge, and that we have kissed the Blarney Stone, and that we have climbed the Great Wall of China, and our life has taken on an expansion that has just been beyond comprehension. Our daughters' lives are completely different because of this business and this company. Yet in those small moments where it didn't feel like I was making progress, those are the times that you need to make a decision that I will not quit. You do not make decisions to protect your feelings. You make decisions to protect your future. There was another moment in time when Brian and I made the decision to move to Oklahoma City, and he might say that I was the person who made the decision to move to Oklahoma City. And that I knew that we were called to move, and I knew we were called to go, but you know, sometimes when you know for sure you're supposed to do something, that for sureness gets a little fadey, and it gets a little tattered around the edges when there are resistances and there are challenges, and it doesn't always fall into line. And it was becoming a little bit more challenging to make that move. Our daughter Whitney lived in Lincoln, Nebraska with us, and she was at the University of Nebraska. We would be moving away from her. We're going to a whole new place where we really didn't know anyone, making that move. And at one point I put my head down in the desk and I said, God, I know that you told me that this is what we were supposed to do, but this has just gotten too hard, and I just don't think I can do it. And as I laid my head, this was also the wonderful words and calmness that I heard, and it said, so don't go. So don't go. If it's too hard, don't go. But you will never know what I had for you. So, in those moments, When you feel challenged and the resistance just seems too much, consider the thought that you don't have to. You don't have to persevere. You don't have to go the extra mile. You don't have to push yourself to another level. You don't have to become a stronger person. You don't need to take captive all those fears in your life and cause your life to be stronger and to be better and be more powerful, and know that there are dreams of other people whose lives are connected to your life. No, you can just stop right there. If you stop right there, where are you going to find yourself? And you will never know. So here's the deal. When we sat at the summit in Switzerland, we sat at the feet of many national sales directors who are becoming Emeriti, and Carolyn Ward was one of those Emeriti national sales directors. And she started off her speech before she retired, and she said, when God gives you a most amazing opportunity, that's beautiful, illustrious, shining, with all the possibilities. Don't doubt it. Don't be confused. And please, for His sake, don't waste it. Thank you.